He's supposed to be the heir to a billionaire fortune, yet he can't even afford a $5 drink.
다른 카드 없니? 얜 정지다.
야, 너 내 통장에 돈이 얼마인 줄 알아? 나도 몰라. 왜? 12자리 숫자가 맨날 바뀌거든.
12자리까지 따질 거 없이 10,000원짜리 2장이면 되거든?
Embarrassed, the young master drops his earlier arrogance and reluctantly fishes out the loose change from his pocket to give to the girl. But as he leaves, he still shoots her a look of contempt.
네 손 들어와서 잔돈은 못 받겠다.
Faced with the young master's rudeness, the girl can only dejectedly wipe her hands on her clothes. This touches on her deepest pain, the one thing she wishes she could forget. She has an incurable congenital heart condition. At only 18, the disease has turned her fingernails black. Her only solution is to have her father regularly paint them with a bright red color made from flower petals, as if that could help her forget death's looming threat. But even though she can hide the blackened nails, she can't hide the regret-filled sadness in her heart.
손톱에 기름때도 끼고. 첫눈 빨리 왔으면 좋겠다.
The young master would never imagine that the person he just treated with such arrogance is actually his childhood sweetheart, someone he grew up with but lost touch with over the years, and who, by fate's design, will become his lifelong connection. Jae-kyung was the only grandson in a wealthy family. Having lost his parents at a young age, he was spoiled rotten by his grandfather, turning him into a trust fund brat. Every morning on his way to school, he'd ride his motorcycle right up to the classroom door. At night, he'd be cruising in his Porsche, partying at clubs and bars. But then came the bad news after his grandfather passed away. The will stated that he, the sole heir, had to meet certain conditions before he could inherit the entire fortune. The condition was this: he had to transfer to a remote mountain village to finish high school, and without dropping out, he had to graduate before he could come back and claim his inheritance. Otherwise, he'd only get 0.1% of the estate.
됐고, 어? 당신 아웃이야.
이미 전학 수속 마쳤습니다. 강재경 씨 임의대로 해제하실 수 없음을 알려드립니다.
Not only that, the will also stipulated that until graduation, Jae-kyung couldn't use anything his grandfather had bought him, including the mansion and the luxury cars. With no other choice, Jae-kyung had to board a bus alone heading back to the countryside, following the address his grandfather left behind. He wound his way through twisting mountain roads until he finally found a small farmhouse. Inside that rundown cottage, there were photos everywhere of him and his grandfather, warm memories, even in the cabinets. There were old, dusty belongings, and in the corner, a faded photograph. But all of these heartwarming things failed to spark even the slightest interest in him, because at that moment, he looked down on this remote place from the bottom of his heart, thinking only about graduating quickly so he could go back and inherit his fortune.